Okay, we are live right now, and welcome everyone, and people who are watching us, and people who are uh, watching this Facebook Live. Everyone, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all over the world, whoever is watching. And I am Farhad Rakib, your moderator of today's Lead Talk. Uh, to start, I want to talk about how Lead Talk formed. Lead Talk is right now the virtual event, which is a product of Marketing Future, where the leading experts of the diverse industry talks about the marketing strategies and every single aspect of marketing, which definitely in an informal manner we discuss, but definitely we have some insightful topics and insightful informations which can change the market or which can enrich our everyone's knowledge. And during this pandemic time, we are talking about how this pandemic has changed the marketing strategy and transforming the marketing strategy due to the ongoing pandemic. But beyond that, I would also want to notify everyone that after the social media platforms coming in, the marketing strategy has changed drastically. Once we had only the TV channels, the radio, print media, and on-ground activation for marketing, but once the social media has taken place, everything has changed, like marketing strategy, planning, ideation, and also the budgeting as well. Everything has changed in a drastical matter. So how it has changed, we'll talk about it in the next 1 hour, and we also talk about how we have seen the change and what's going to be the future. Like once we start uh, going back to the pre-pandemic era or after pandemic era, the strategy will remain same or we are going to change it or do something different. So today our topic officially, I want to let everyone know, our topic is the transformation of marketing and future. And this lead talk is initiated by Marketing Future. And I especially want to thank, first of all, the ICE Business Times for being the media partner. And for food partner, I want to thank Secret Recipe. And I want to also thank the Digital Express for the digital partner of our today's lead talk. But first, I want to introduce everyone, definitely. Let me introduce our chief guests first. We have Mr. Dave McCon and Mr. Anis Ekhan. I honestly, I personally love to talk about what they have achieved in their entire career of over the decades. But the problem is they have achieved so much, it's very difficult to memorize all of it. So I'll just read some of the scripts my team gave me to state their uh, achievements all over the years they have done. I will start with Mr. Dev Makon. He is currently based on Bangkok and Sydney, and he has spent most of the last 3 decades working on the Asia Pacific leading strategy planning in senior management roles with McCain, one of the world's largest advertising and communication companies. Then in 2015, Mr. Dave launched his own brand storytelling consultancy, which is called Bibliosexual. And again, 2017, he began this platform, Marketing Future, with his two partners in Bangladesh. Uh, he is a widely recognized leader in understanding the intersection of people, brands, media, and use of the innovative technologies. And also, he knows the narrative and he has a big research about it, how to drive the business. And Dave also has been coming and going to Bangladesh and working on various projects since 1999. And we also have Mr. Anisek Khan, and he is the fellow and member of the Council of the Institute of Bankers Bangladesh and Institute of Personal Management Bangladesh. He has 38 years of experience and training in banking and capital markets. He is an adjunct professor, which is in School of Business and Entrepreneurship at Independent University of Bangladesh. And he is also the advisor of Board of Tiger Risk Management Bangladesh Limited, subsidiary of Tigers UK Limited. Mr. Anise Khan, which is also known in short as Mr. AAK, he was the CEO and Managing Director of IDLC Finance Limited during 2003 to 2009, and the Managing Director and CEO of Mutual Trust Bank Limited (MTB) from 2009 April to November 2019. Mr. Anise Khan was the main team member who was the organizer of the National TV Debating Competition from 1975 to 1979. And at the very same time, he was the program presenter at the only TV station presented in Bangladesh, which was Bangladesh Television, of course. And He currently presents a celebrity show where prominent leaders of Bangladesh are featured regularly. And he also loves to participate, interacting with the young millennial as an adjunct professor at IUB, which is a very important thing for the youth that are coming in the marketing sector. And in 2015, under his leadership, Mutual Trust Bank was awarded the prestigious DHL and the Daily Star Joint Venture Bangladesh Business Award, and recognized as the best financial institution of 2014. He is the recipient of the Business and Entrepreneur Excellence Award 2016 and recognized as the Inspirational Business Leader of the Year by the UK Bangladesh Catalyst of Commerce and Industry. Wow, a lot of things. Welcome, Mr. Anisik Khan, and welcome, Mr. Dave McCon. We're very happy to have you guys. And I want to introduce our guest as well. We have Mr. Rifakat Rashid from Unilever Bangladesh. We have Rubaiyat Shams from BRAC Aron. And we also have our teacher, Tira Umnia Hussain, Associate Professor, School of Business, Presidency University. And from the agency side, we have Mr. Ariful Bashar from Great Dhaka and my favorite, Munaf Mujib Choudhury from ADA. So I want to welcome everyone. So like I said, our topic is the transformation of marketing and future. And first, I want to start with our chief guest. I will go to Mr. Dave McCon. I want your opinion, like over the last 3 decades, you're working in the advertising and communication sector. What do you feel like how the transformation happened? Because we have seen like pre-social media times advertising strategies and post-social media times advertising strategies, and also the ongoing current pandemic situation. So how did you see all these changes? What do you think?
Well, thank you very much, and thanks to all of our other guests and to Anis. It's great to be with you. Unfortunately, you know, it's been a while since 2 years now since I've been in Dhaka, but trying to stay in contact with everything that's happening here, and this session will really help do that. Mm-hmm. So if I think about the way in which transformation, digital and social transformation has happened and how that affects marketing, 3 quick things. First of all, you make a mistake, Fahad. Social media has been around for at least 100,000 years. The first medium we know of that mankind ever partook of was social media when he started doing cave paintings, leaving messages for his fellow cavemen. Social media was a very, very, very active part of all marketing strategies throughout history. It's the fundamental part of marketing communication strategies. Now, I would then like to point out, when we talk about social media and its part in marketing, it's part of marketing communication, okay? Marketing is much more than just marketing. Sometimes in these discussions we get confused. We talk about marketing strategy when we're actually just talking about marketing communication strategy. But the third thing I'd like to point out is that what we've seen in the last 2 years has been actually nothing new, but a speeding up of a process that's been in place for 30 years. So the old guys on this panel, and Anis and I, can remember back to the 80s and the 90s. We can remember back further than that, but business-wise, we can remember back to the 80s and 90s and the introduction, for example, of the internet. Now, you know, back when I first started working in advertising in the mid-80s, I was actually the first person at the McCann agency in Australia to have access to the internet. And one of the things we learned very early on was that it's volumetric. That really all we've been doing for the last 30 years is making the volumes of communication much bigger. And what we've been able to do then is to retarget things in different sorts of ways. Now, is that a better way to communicate? Well, some would argue yes or no. Actually, before we just started, I just finished reading an article which is all about how children today would be much better off and better educated by just watching television and never allowed near a computer screen. And you're going to ask me, how could that be? Well, it's because when we only had television, we were forced to learn things about all sorts of things because there was limited viewing. Once we have access to the internet, and we put ourselves in front of screens, I'm sure you're all like this, we tend to just look at the stuff we're really interested in and not know much about anything else. But that's important when we're marketing, because what we then have to do is today, and the speeding up of the last 2 years has been the speeding up of realizing that as marketers, we have to really fine tune what it is that the people we want to consume our brands and our products are. What are they interested in? What are they dialing into? What particular things is getting their interest, and then being a part of that. And that's the big speed up and the difference that's happened. Maybe Anis can explain his point of view on how things have moved.
Right. I would like to also introduce Mr. Ahmed Edi from Hungry Naki. He just joined. Welcome, Mr. Ahmed. We probably will take your opinion as well from after we take the opinions of our chief guests, and also that topic, which is the transformation of marketing and its future. So we'll talk about it. I want to invite Mr. Anis to give his opinion about the transformation of marketing over the decades. So, sir, please, if you give your valuable opinion to us.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and assalamu alaikum to all our viewers from around the world. And special regards to my fellow panelist, Dave, and to the very young, upwardly mobile, brilliant people who have joined in and from whom I'm waiting to hear pearls of wisdom. That's what I always tell my students, teach me. I don't want to teach you only. It's a two-way process. So Dave has given a very good introduction. I really don't want to repeat what he just said, but I did a bit of study, coming into this panel, one must study, just cannot come and ad-lib. So some of my studies, says that there are 5 mega trends transforming the future of digital marketing. And they've changed the world for both business to business and business to customer marketers. We have marketers over here, like Bashar from Grey, for example. The mega trends, the 5, COVID-19 obviously is a big disruptor. We all know about the fourth industrial revolution and artificial intelligence and all that, but COVID-19 came on its own, unpredictable, and despite certain fortune tellers, I want to actually meet that fortune teller in Bombay who said that COVID in March last year, he said COVID will disappear by May. I want to go and catch him. Why he said that? So the Spanish flu lasted for 2 years. This one is nearly 1.5 years now. We've got this, and we don't know how much longer we'll have this one. But it's very, very tragic. Like yesterday, I lost a cousin, and today I hear a very senior business magnate in Bangladesh, big conglomerate chairman, I won't name him. His wife is struggling for life. My own brother died last year from COVID, and so on. There are so many more. So COVID-19 has really affected digital marketing. We all know that, and you're all participants in that evolution. And teams, all of you are working remotely, like right now we are sitting here. I take my classes remotely. I attend the various board meetings remotely. And your strategies, your messaging, your campaigns have become all very different, catered to the customers who are also sitting at home. Now, and the next one, I just try to make it short because there's so much to cover, the acceleration of digital. The way the digital mediums and the social media and all the time new ones are coming and new ways they are coming. And the old ones are always tweaking and improving that. So digital is accelerating at a very fast pace. The next one is the big data. Big data. Imagine the data that our government has got, the Election Commission currently, of all the Bangladeshi people, the NID, which is a great thing. And now there is a tussle between the Home Ministry and the Election Commission who should have possession of the data. So a survey recently done, obviously in the United States, they said in 1 minute, online saw 480,000 tweets, 4.7 million videos viewed on YouTube, 4.2 million search queries on Google, and maybe also Bing and other search vehicles. Of course, you have the Chinese ones too. And then 200 emails sent and 60,000 images uploaded in a single second. So all that information can tell brands just how best to serve you. All of these brands, like Unilever, for example, you have a big brand over here. And any one of us here can be a content creator and publisher. We are all authors. I mean, in the old days, there was Shakespeare we read, and then there were contemporary authors. We grew up reading Alistair MacLean and Sidney Sheldon, and then, of course, as you grow older, your tastes change. Now we read biographies and other stories. So that's what we do. But now we are all biographers. We are all writers. We all write blogs. And there are some of my friends are writing on Facebook like 8-10 pages. Like one wrote yesterday about his 40-year-old life. It was an anniversary of something. So he has also become a content creator and publisher. And then the global connectivity, the instant connectivity that you have got now. I wrote a small piece 2 days ago saying that and as Dave said, we saw a lot when we were young. We saw a landline in my house in 1958. I was only 4 years old, and people from the area would come and see the telephone, and they would like to call. And I was only 5 years old. I said, no, you got to pay me 1 anna if you want to call. And I had a little box. So from there,
you were a banker right from the beginning.
Yeah, I was, I think. No. And then now you have instant video telephony.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, whatever you may call it. And there's so many. Then you had to write letters. And in the Fozar Art Cadet College I went to, every Sunday morning, we had to write letters compulsory, and it used to go to our parents. And then we used to get letters back. Now, nobody writes letters anymore. It's all emails and tweets and WhatsApp, etc., etc. So it's all changed. Before we used to buy records, vinyl. Then we started buying CDs. Then we started buying the CD cassettes, then the DVDs, and now we buy nothing. And I've got a big load of CDs and DVDs lying there in my corridor. Nobody wants it because it's all online on YouTube and whatever else. So things have really, really been revolutionized in the whole world. And as I said earlier, we are sitting here. We don't need to go to offices. We don't need to get on a plane somewhere and burn carbon and go. So the global connectivity has got 5.1 billion phone owners, mobile, 2 billion online shoppers, and 3.7 billion social media users. So that's the global connectivity. So all this means the future of digital marketing is now. Now, I will rest here now because I've got much more material, but I want to, relate them in phases so that we hear from our other panelists, from the younger ones,
right?
And then maybe we can tailor my next deliberation accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anis. So one more time, our topic today is the transformation of marketing and its future. So if we talk about the current pandemic situation, which is ongoing since the last 2 years all over the world and also in our country, we are seeing like mass casualties in like current wave. But apart from that, everything moves on, everything goes on. So I would like to go to our corporate guys here. And I want to start with Ms. Rubaiyat Shams first. I want to know her opinion. Like, our first topic, like on this current ongoing situation, how the business environment has changed. What do you think?
So I believe due to COVID-19, the markets are shuffled. I mean, we are no more into the traditional and conventional way of advertising or reaching out to our customers. It's more, we're transforming more to digitalization. We're looking into more digital approaches to reach our customers and our consumers. There is use of technology. There are people who are analyzing these data and turning them into insights and applying them in their business model. So the entire business environment has shifted to a more what would I say, a platform where the use of technology is more than what it was before. So I believe this shift is a positive shift, as well as it is difficult for some people to adapt to this shift as well. They're so accustomed to the traditional and conventional way of advertisement, and they're trying to understand the new processes, they're trying to adapt to a new environment. So sometimes it becomes difficult for them. But then again, if we have the right use of data and technology, and we can use those insights to target the right people at the right time and place the right product that they're looking for, I think it's a wonderful opportunity, this rise in the digital transformation.
Right, very true. I think I would like some opinion from Mr. Rifat about this, like what Rubaiyat said, and also I think it's pretty much everywhere, not whether it's in national or multinational, wherever it is. But
Of
what
course.
do you think? What's the future for this
So on
event?
on two different fronts, right? So the first one is, of course, the ways of working that have changed due to the pandemic. I mean, let's say a year and a half ago, none of us could have even imagined that we'd be sitting at home and working pretty much the whole day. Most corporations couldn't imagine that their workforce would be highly productive from home as well. So there's been a definite significant shift in how we're working, and the organizations.
I think we have some internet issue with Mr. Rifat. So I'll get back to him. Mr. Rifat, I'll get back to you. I want to.
Hi, is it not
going on?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Farhad, you're the one we can't hear.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Sorry for that.
Please go.
So I could hear. I could hear Farhad. So that's. So here we go. The organizations that could really connect and make these new digital technologies work. So they had a little advantage moving ahead when the pandemic first hit. The other major shift, and me being an e-commerce professional, this is also a big shift that's happened in the overall global markets, where the adoption of e-commerce has significantly increased. So one thing that you hear being said is 5 years of e-commerce adoption happened in 1 year last year. So that also puts a big shift in how organizations are thinking about content, right? So product content becomes an important part of the overall user journey. So how you're positioning your products within different e-commerce websites becomes very important. And another very interesting thing, and this is very specific as well, I'll be quite specific in this, in how new product development and how you get people to actually trial new products that you're putting out in the market. So one of the main ways we used to do this back in the day, I'll say back in the day, like pre-COVID, was through activations, right? You'd get people on the field trying to generate trial for your product. But that, of course, we can't do activations anymore. So how different organizations are doing this particular side of the marketing communications workflow, this is also very important. So there's new technological solutions that are coming out right now. If I give an example from the Unilever perspective, we have something called Smart Pick, where we try and generate trial. We do sampling through a digital platform, right? And the other major shift that's been happening over the past couple of years, of course, because of digital, is data, right? How we collect data, how we store that data, and then, of course, how we utilize that data. So, I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll cut it short so that we can all kind of have some points of views in here.
Thank you so much for your.
I would just like to add one thing to that.
Yes.
Besides e-commerce, other commerce platforms are also emerging. For example, Facebook commerce, Instagram commerce. A lot of people are ordering from Facebook. They have everything in the palm of their hand. So at the end of the day, this digital transformation has done good to people because they do not necessarily have to go out of their house to get things done anymore. They just have it on their phone through apps, through other in social media platforms. So it's just easier nowadays for this marketing information.
There's a very interesting point you brought up as well. So the fact that we've had this accelerated meant that a lot of these bigger e-commerce players, they really had to expand rapidly. So product availability, like certain things that maybe you wouldn't get deep rural is a little bit extreme, but maybe outside of the urban centers, certain products you won't get. But because of this acceleration, there is a lot more availability nowadays because of guys like Daraz.
Very true. I would like to invite Mr. Ahmed. We already heard from Ms. Rubaiyat and Mr. Rifat, and Mr. Ahmed, welcome once again. And I want to know what Rubaiyat and Mr. Rifat said. Considering that, what do you think? How much positive effect we are going to see in future from this kind of marketing? And also, since the data part brought up, I would like to talk to Mr. Munaf as well after that. But I want to know from Mr. Ahmed, what kind of positive effects we are going to see with the new diversified opportunities in the F-commerce, as Robert said, and also the Instagram commerce and other diversified options. What do you think? What kind of future we're looking at?
Thank you. Just like to give my brief background. So I'm basically founder and the CEO of Hungry Naki. So this is a food delivery application. You can order anything under 1 hour, from food to grocery to your medicine. So we started back in 2013, and from that, as we started as a digital service, we are always in the track of like doing marketing and every sort of customer acquisition, retention, and everything through digital platform. So for us, the numbers are very important. Our marketers are not marketing background people; they all are engineers. So that's why, like, the way we started our approach is all based on database decision making. So in every time, whenever the users are like roving through our advertisement or content or the sort of like organic sort of thing, we try to track and measure of every sort of output from there. So now in this COVID, like, it has like making the things a bit more transformation is happening, much acceleration with a much accelerated rate. But like what we are having, we are like experiencing a behavioral shift also in the customers like overall cycle. So what we see, like, now people are more into comparing product with different platform, and they're like looking more onto comparing the service level. So these are areas like where I guess the traditional companies need to fight with this digital company in a big way in upcoming days. And the data is very important because that data tells us about who the customers are. We know about their, even like we can guess from the location, from the behavioral pattern, from their ordering size, whether they live in families, whether they are like say smaller families, or they're having some sort of occasion or not. That can, a lot of things the data is telling us, and from that we can generate like specific interest-based campaign. We can generate user-based target campaign to get more growth into like sales and some sort of promotions. So in that area, what we see, like, there are now new channels are coming, like the F-commerce or Instagram, but they will be lacking a lot of like data. Like, they'll be missing out of a lot of data because data of those customers are not available towards of this customer to the platform owners. So I guess like for them, or this the new sector of this F-commerce or Instagram commerce, like, they will need to buy and to channel everything through the inside of Facebook and sort of thing. Someone will be owning and someone is selling. What I see in the future, the more shift will be with the owning of a platform and use the data properly.
Very important. And talking about data, we have Mr. Munaf from ADA. I want to know from you, like, how that data is changing the communication strategy and targeting and stuff. I think we already had a major discussion about it in your office, but from your experience, I want to know your insight on this, like how data affect the marketing and communication strategy.
Right. So first of all, thank you. First of all, it's a big privilege to be part of a panel where someone like Anis sir and Dave is here. So it's a big privilege to be part, and everyone else here. So first of all, good afternoon and good evening to all the viewers and everyone here. So let me, I think the discussion that has already started in terms of digital transformation and how data is helping to transform this. I think digital transformation is something that is going to happen whether we as marketers or brands do anything about this or not, because technology is moving on and consumers are adapting to technology. And pandemic has just simply shown it to our face that how whether whatever we want to do, consumers will go through this transformation. Now, data is actually something. Since transformation will happen, so if I look at digital transformation is like a bus or a train, whether we as marketers will be at the driving seat or who will direct this transformation, or we will be at the passenger seat who will follow a direction, what we believe or what we see will depend on how much understanding we have about data in terms of what can you actually do with data. Because I
Right.
think currently one of the major places or major areas where the entire market is trying to work on, and since I work in that sector and I talk to a lot of companies, so before understanding how a particular tool works or a particular technology works, it's really important that any transformation, the biggest part of any transformation is with the mindset. Whether we can shift our mindset in such a manner that the transformation, that we can be at the helm of the transformation. So that is where data is coming in, and Ahmed Bhai just rightly pointed out the amount of data you can get or you can dissect, or the amount of understanding you can create within yourself as to what the particular data can do is really the first step to understand what you can do with the data and how it will impact your marketing. Because at the end of the day, once again, I'm referring to Ahmed Bhai, what he said, that he has a lot of engineers who are doing marketing, right? So currently, if you want to define a marketer, you don't need to define a marketer by someone who has gone to only business school and is very outward, outspoken. Nope. It doesn't work like that. It's very integrated, because we like when I started into marketing or things, or in this industry, like
Right.
11, 12 years back, I think we were at a situation in Bangladesh when Bangladesh was kind of, the traditional marketing was still there, but we got introduced to traditional marketing, but then we got into this transformation phase where digital came in and all these things happened. But you see, at the end of the day, unless we can, like within every company, unless and it doesn't have to be only limited to marketing or any business functions. Every function needs to, it can be HR, it can be admin, it can be anyone. Basically, if any team can think that you know that in my decision making, if I know what data I need to take a proper decision which will have a proper business impact, I think that part is something which will keep us in the driving seat. And
Right.
any marketing function that we are running, any marketing that we are trying to, the first thing is to honestly ask ourselves, do we know what data we need to know to take this decision or not? I think
Right.
I just wanted to add that angle to this.
That's very insightful. So I want to ask Mr. Anis to end this part of our discussion, right? Like what our corporate guys say. Like there are many kind of dynamic openings in the market and many kind of diversified opportunities in the market. So, Mr. Anis, I want to know what's your opinion on the fact that to fulfill the dynamic resources, do we have enough knowledge to fulfill our new business policies or this changing world, the way the transformation is happening? Do you think that we have enough resources to fulfill the growing need of the knowledge for these dynamic opportunities?
Thank you for that comment or question or point that you have made, Farhad. It's a very interesting postulation. And this fact that whether we have enough, first of all, you wanted to know whether we have enough knowledge in the marketplace. I would like to say that our young people have enough knowledge. They live in a global village. They have access to all the information tools that are available in the world. And what they want, they can get that with the click of a button. So the knowledge exists, number one. Or if they don't have it, they can strive to get it. They can also go to peers for help to get it. So they're very busy. They can also go to their teachers. We have a teacher in Tina over here, for example.
Right.
You can always go to teachers and professors. The other thing is, now only having the knowledge is not good enough. If you're working in a corporation, you will in a hierarchy. You have a pyramid, and you have picking orders. So you might have a lot of knowledge, but will your boss listen to you? Does he feel undermined by you? Does he feel threatened by you? Or is he an empowering boss who wants to learn from you? Like when I would make various presentations around the world, my presentations would be made by young management trainees, and I would seat them by my side and learn from them And of course, I would give them the ideas and content and the main thing, but they were the ones who would create those mind-blowing presentations. So if you empower these young people, they'll be able to come up with solutions. So in the organizations, the knowledge is, especially with the younger ones, and they can come up with more knowledge and information and competition, what the competition is doing. Plus, they have their own gossip mill. As Dave said, we had the cave pictures. That's the social media. Another social media is the gossip. You tell a secret to somebody, and that secret will become public knowledge. And these days, it's all digital. The videos come out. Something happened to one actress. Even now, various videos are trailing, and trolling. There are some trolls going on.
Right.
Which is good. So information exists, and this knowledge needs to be used by organizations, and the seniors must see to it that they empower the younger ones to get this information.
Very true, very true. I think talking about knowledge, and you also, Mr. Anis, thank you so much. You also mentioned we have another teacher here who is an associate professor, School of Business, Presidency University, Tina Umnia Hussain. I want to go to her, and ma'am, for you, I have that specific one question which I mentioned before, like the way the marketing and the strategies are transforming, considering the platforms and the change of the strategies and the evolution of marketing. So do you think we have enough support from the universities for the students to cope up with the current strategy culture and current marketing culture? And since the digital marketing has taken a big part in the entire marketing sector, do we have any courses that covers up, in fact, the academic courses I'm mentioning, that covers up the digital marketing platforms, marketing strategy, and the learning of digital marketing? Do we have courses in current academic curriculum of marketing?
Thank you for your question. Just to briefly say,
Ma'am, I cannot listen to you. Can you say it a bit louder? Extremely sorry.
Oh, okay. Am I now audible? Can you hear me now?
We still cannot hear you, ma'am.
Let me check.
It's very low. It's very low. Now it's muted. Ma'am, you're muted.
Right. Okay. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, just a bit louder, then we will all hear you.
Okay. I think there's what's wrong with
Pretend you're in a big lecture room. Shout.
If I can increase my mic volume, just a second.
Yeah, that's getting better.
Just a second. Yeah, I'm increasing it, so it should be better now.
Yeah, now we can hear you properly.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay. So what as you were saying, like how can the universities cope with these changes? What is happening?
Ma'am, your audio has gone again. You have to unmute right now.
Sorry, creating.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so what it is that universities, we are aware about this transformation that is going on, but honestly speaking, since I've been teaching in a private university for many years, there are top universities that are doing it more actively, but there is a gap between the corporate world and the educational world, like interactions such as, we have speakers coming in from the corporate world who are discussing about the changes that is happening in the overall marketing world, in the business world, and we try to see that our students are incorporating this new knowledge, and that there is a whole change, not just in how they have to work in the corporate world, but also how they're learning, like how we teach. Instead of the traditional teaching methods, we are trying now more to be more allowing them to be more hands-on regarding what to do. Like Anis sir said, we have to empower them. So we are empowering our students, that you decide how to do things. Then we also give them more case studies and team exercises, and even if we could come up with simulations, like many of the top corporate houses, when they have their recruitment process, they have these simulations where students actually have to solve real life problems in real time. So if we could incorporate more of those, then maybe the gap could, be reduced a bit. And as for what the new courses that you were mentioning, that what courses are universities offering, well, different business schools have different courses, of course. Like in our university, we do have digital marketing, of course. We have brand, of course, there is brand management and brand marketing. And we bring in, sometimes we ourselves are not that much, if we are not that much equipped with the proper up-to-date knowledge about social media marketing and all, we bring in guest faculties from the corporate world to teach these courses. So in our BBA program and even in our master's level MBA programs and executive MBA programs, we bring in guest speakers, guest lecturers from these corporate houses who are able to share their experiences, and that helps the students to understand what is required of them. And I believe that in this growing and changing dynamic market, the students, their skills also have to change, right? It's not just about hard skills, it's more about soft skills. So we need to focus more on developing their soft skills also. So we are trying to incorporate that, but I feel that as fast-paced as the business world is, maybe the educational institutions are not up to par as yet. Even though I am part of that institution and that system, I can honestly admit that we are not up to par yet. Yeah. Thank you.
Right, very, very, very interesting input, and I hope that all the universities in our country will focus on this, like how to empower the students so that in corporate world they can make their name. I want to go back to Mr. Bashar, who is from Great Dhaka, and we want to go back to our discussion, like how the strategies are for the corporate to sales-driven campaigns. This is a very important part. Like all corporate wants to sell their products and services. So, Mr. Bashar, I want to know your experience, like when designing a sales-driven campaign in the current time of the social media time, or if you say that in this ongoing pandemic time, what kind of challenges do you guys face when you are planning a strategical campaign for a client who wants to sell their products or increase the selling or boosting the selling? I'm pretty sure you always get these kind of requests from the clients that we need a sales-driven campaign. So make a plan about that. So what kind of strategies do you guys take when you design a campaign like this?
See, one thing we do firsthand is when we talk about, say, any brief, be it brand communication or a sales-driven campaign per se, we try to understand the objective part of it and how relevant it's with their current strategy, right? So if they're already selling through the digital platform, then we just have to amplify the whole thing, put our data strategy behind that. Okay, how much you are selling, what is the campaign we're suggesting, how much ROI we want to target, and following that entire journey through performance marketing, seeing it every single day, whether it's working properly, whether we are actually achieving the targets, and modifying it. For example, let's take Arun, for example. If they want to go for a big push for their Taga maternity line, then what we do is we actually sit with them throughout the discussion. We see the past performance of how much they were selling prior to this particular campaign that they want to do, right? And we have data, because big data is there. It's very obvious. You can track back. So the one thing that we follow when it comes to sales and ROI-driven campaigns, we call it OMTM, one metric that matters. So one metric, we actually sit with the client and define that one metric, one very important metric, that what is that for the client. Once they share this is the metric we want to track, then we can look at the metric and in the past data, and once the campaign is rolled and it's finished, we can also match it with the future OMTM and match them together to see, okay, this is the metric that is relevant to the client. Can there be other metrics as well? Of course, there can be multiple metrics. It can be number of visitors in that particular time, number of orders being converted. All of it can come into play, but then again, it's always a mutual discussion. But the one thing that we always focus on before when we get a brief is that whether the client is clear about the brief or not, right? So because they can, it's a very if the brief is that we want to increase sales, it's very vague, right? Because it can do good, but it can also harm your business in terms of how your brand is positioned. Is it talking in the manner? Is it continuing the conversation of how the brand has been in the, say, offline, and is it coming back to online to create the relevance? So this
but
is
I want to just add, in the meantime, I just want to add one thing, like what you were saying, like client gives brief and they explain what they want. But after that, when you are planning the campaign or even executing it, how much accessibility do you see a client wants? Like, do you see that the client wants his opinion to be incorporated from the very beginning, or in what part of the campaign, like in planning or the creative execution or the on-ground execution, whatever you say, in which part the client wants the accessibility most?
I think in all parts they want access, and that's fine. And we are more than willing to give them the accessibility that they desire, because there is no hidden thing here, right? We are doing it together. So from the planning part, of course, it's our responsibility to make them understand why we are why our strategic line and communication strategy is particularly that what we are suggesting, and we welcome client feedback and incorporate that. When it's in the execution phase, of course we contribute, and that this is our previous experience, this is how the creative should be, this is how it's gonna impact. And of course, when it's live and the conversion is happening, we do it together. If the media is also being done by us, then of course we have the full access, client has the full access. If there are tri-party communication, for example, ADA is taking care of the media, then we merge with third parties and agencies together, and client has access to all the data.
Right. I want to go back to Mr. Dave.
Can I just add a little bit to what Bashir Bhai said? And I think Munaf Bhai and Bashir Bhai, you can put in a little bit more on my assumption here. What I see is that in terms of media investment, at least in Bangladesh, most of the media investment is happening on the upper funnel, right? We see very limited investment happening on the bottom funnel. You guys might be, which is the basics, the sales and the conversion portion of the user journey.
So what kind of change we have seen the media buying strategy, Mr. Rifat? Like, did it decrease?
What's happening is we're seeing media buying happening more on the awareness level than on the conversion level. This is my experience. I think Munaf Bhai and Bashir Bhai, you guys as an agency would have a clearer picture of the overall holistic market on that. Do you guys see a similar kind of thing?
Munaf Bhai, you want to take it?
Yep. I think in terms of investments on the upper funnel, that of course still gets a lot of the budgets, but at the end of the day, we also need to keep in mind that the upper funnel will always need budgets. You'll always need to have more people aware about the product than who will buy the product. So which is fine, but which is true. I think what Rifat is just saying, which is true. Like still we are investing a lot more on the upper funnel. The major reason is probably our entire structure is still not in place to make sure we can invest a lot on the bottom funnel. I think together we need to figure out how do we fix the entire structure and the entire process, as in the consumer journey and everything, to make sure the investment that we do on the bottom funnel actually makes a lot of sense.
Right. That's very important. I just want to, because we're very shortage on time, so we have to talk with everyone. I want to go to Mr. Dave again, but before that, I want to thank Secret Recipe. Where is it? Yeah, Secret Recipe for their beautiful coffee.
Let me just thank Secret Recipe.
I want to make a point. I want to thank.
I just want to make a point. One of you earlier on said activation is really hard. Now, I want to give you an example of how things in marketing have never changed. Marketing doesn't change. The tools we use change. And here's a simple example. When I first got into advertising and marketing 35 years ago, I sat next to the director of direct marketing in the agency I worked at. And he was one of the most important people. And the first thing he taught me was something that Tina used, a term that Tina used. He used the term hands-on. And his point was that if you get people to touch it, they will love it and remember it. And I'm going to put a little challenge out to my fellow speakers tonight. For those in the audience that don't know, we arranged that Secret Recipe would deliver coffee and treats to all the speakers in Dhaka tonight before the session started. And I can guarantee you that tomorrow, next week, next month, the thing you're most going to remember about this session is not what I say or what any of you say. You're going to remember the fact that, hey, they got me coffee and treats before the thing started. That's called direct marketing, okay? Right. And so when we talk about things have changed, Manaf mentioned activations. Activations are still the fundamental way in which you get people interested in your product. The way you deliver the activation might be different. The biggest difference now is that activations used to be, if I worked for Unilever, and I used to be the advertising agency for Unilever in many countries, for Wall's ice cream. So our idea of activations for years and years and years was to get, how do we get 10,000 people to come to the places where we can give them ice cream? Or how can we be at the place like a big cricket match where we can give away free ice cream as tastings? Well, now the trick is we go to them and you activate where they are, not where you them to be. And I think this is one of the biggest things, you know, that the fundamentals don't change. Digital is just a platform for us to speed things up. The other point I just quickly make is Bashir and some of the other speakers, I might make the point about data, how much information we have. This debate was happening in the 1940s in America with the launch of broadcast television. They suddenly had millions of pieces of data, about 100 million people viewers every day. They didn't have computers to work it out. They had slide rules and spreadsheets, paper spreadsheets to work this out. The truth is, we talk about we've got so much more data. We've never had so much computer power to understand the data and analyze. So actually, no offense in today, but easier today because you have access to far greater tools for analyzing what's happening and what's going on. And we should be taking advantage of those analytical tools in every platform that we have.
Right, that's very insightful. In short, Mr. Dave, I had one more question for you. One more question, and the question is, in your experience, how do you evaluate an efficient agency for a corporate? Like what an agency should have to be efficient? That's a very tricky question. I know you're already smiling.
Well,
but
the first rule I always applied was if the agency employed me, it was very efficient. Okay. The second rule, okay, about efficiency is I was taught by one of my early mentors in the advertising industry that if a client wants to come to the meetings, then you're being good at your job. If the client doesn't want to come to the meetings, then you're no good at your job. And so the first thing you can test is, are the clients coming because they want to come or because they have to come? And so if they want to come, it's because what Anis said, you take around the right people, put them in a meeting and get people interested. Whether it's young people, old people, men, women, it doesn't matter. You put the right people in front of the clients that can explain what's going on, that can make it usable information and can show them this is the next step. And that's a very simple formula for success in terms of what clients need. I can guarantee the clients on this panel, I can guarantee you at any time, day or night, 24 hours a day, if I asked you, have you got too much to do? Yes, I've got too much to do. Everybody says that, right? Has anybody got not enough to do at work? Put up your hand, right? But what happens is if you're an agency or if you're part of the marketing department, your job is to make everybody else's job just that much easier. That's fundamental, right?
Right.
That's why by the way, that's why we're in the service industry. That's what the service industry means. It means making other people's lives easier.
Kudos to that. We are very end of our session, so I have a couple of questions for both the agency and corporate people, but I will go through the I'll go first on the corporate people, and Rubaiyat Shams, she's been here for an entire hour, and she had a very little chance to talk about. So this question is for you, especially. Like we see that many agencies bring new challenge and freshers. So if you are designing a campaign helping by the help of an agency, will you want to get new talents, freshers to work on your campaign?
I would say definitely, because when you say that bringing freshers into a team, you mean bringing new ideas into the plate, right? So if you're bringing new ideas into the table, and through discussions and through understanding each other's viewpoints, you can come to a common ground and understand what the client and the agency both can do together. So it's always purpose driven. Both the agency and the client both have to understand what purpose you're working for. And new talents have so much to provide, because nowadays they are more exposed to the current trends, the current understanding of technology and data. Yes, experience definitely matters, I would say. But besides that, you need to have new talents to they have their share of ideas to provide that you may or may not have known, right? So that's really important. And new talents they're fresh graduates. They have the technology. They may not have the technological know-how, but they may have the idea that they can put on the table, and with and others on the team, analysts and other people, can work around it. So it's important to have ideas from both ends and from everyone that you can add into.
Right. So I have 1 more minute for any other corporate guys. If you want to add anything, then I will go to Mr. Bashar for the agency related question. Anyone from corporate, Mr. Rifat or Mr. Ahmed?
Is that the same question? On the same question?
The same question, yes. If you want to add anything else.
So I'll have a similar kind of response to what Rubaiyat has said, but I'll also add another thing to it, that it also depends on the campaign. Like if it's something very critical, you would want some seasoned hands working on it as well, along with
right.
Yeah. So it depends. It depends on the campaign, I guess. If it's something that's critical, you would need some seasoned hands working on it. But of course, from the lens of adding new ideas, maybe they'll be looking at it. If we consider from a digital campaign perspective, they might actually be consumers of what you are trying to, like freshers might actually be the consumers of what you're trying to sell. So they might add some consumer lens into it as well. So yeah.
Right, and directly consumer perspective they can give. I think that's a very good insight. Mr. Bashar, shortly in 1 minute, I have one question left, and that is, in what area of advertising do you think we have less talents right now? Is it planning? Is it creative? Client servicing, or some other sector? What do you think from an agency perspective? Which kind of talent do you lack most in the market?
The biggest missing talent in the market currently is strategy, right? We have all these people who understand digital because they live and breathe in digital, but it's very important, as Dave said, and I completely agree. When TV came, doesn't mean you have to be TV marketer, right? You have to be brand marketer, right? So marketing will remain constant. So maybe at some point we stretch and we spend too much time on the topic of the channel itself, digital. You don't spend that much topic and time on radio, but that's an effective channel for Bangladesh as well. So there are no radio marketers, right? So why stretch always? That you understand the brand, you understand the communication objective, and the best people who actually initiate the thought, who combine the culture and behavior together, are strategists. And we see a massive lack of strategists in the current market, in the agency side, and both also in some cases in the client side. I think that if eventually people get interested about the strategy part of it, then creativity gets enhanced, then the channels and execution becomes better. Because maybe Aaron is ahead right now in terms of digital marketing, but in 5-10 years time, there will be so many other clothing brands who's going to be using this channel. And what's going to happen then? How are you going to differentiate? So you would be needing those people who's going to start now, by 10 years time will be very sound to activate this new additional channel, which is called digital. And that's where the biggest lack is, because we don't see that much lack in the Department of Art and the servicing or accounts, but we see a lot of gap in the strategy department. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bashar. We pretty much covered everything we wanted to talk about. It's already 5, but I would ask 2 minutes from Mr. Dave. I know Mr. Dave and Mr. Aaron is very busy man. and they're our chief guests. So to wrap up the entire conversation, Mr. Anis first, I want to know your opinion from the entire conversation we had today. Just your verdict, what we had and what we're going to have in future in marketing. Very shortly.
Thank you, Farhad. I know time is very limited, but it was very refreshing hearing the ideas from our younger ones over here. I really liked what they had to say. 2 points I would like to make, which always comes to my mind, is that the advertising spend, being a CEO of a bank and financial institution for a very long time and being responsible for costs. So we have to do a lot of advertisements in the newspaper. What I always found that they have been extremely expensive, especially the leading newspapers, and they are gone in a flash, and you throw the newspaper away within hours, and then it becomes tomorrow's wrapping paper. So I think that's a lot of waste of money. That sort of huge money, that budget could be spent, and Bashar and all, you can put on your thinking caps. You still I still want you to get the commission and the money because you work very hard, but you need to be able to channel it into the new digital channels away from the. I know it will hit the newspaper wallets, it will hit them, but that's what has happened in America. Everywhere else, they have all gone digital. So that is one point I'd like to make. The other one is the greatest cause of irritation in watching the Bengali channels, the news. You can't watch the news. It's all an advertisement channel. Within 2 minutes of the headlines, they go into advertisements. And every channel has the same advertisements. I wonder whether all these companies are really paying them, the TV channel, that much money for those. They are a real irritation. If you listen to BBC or CNN, you listen to the news. They have a break much later. These 2 points I wanted to make about the media, about the advertisement, and just few points I would like to make over here that Dave just spoke about the digital transformation. I would like to say that it is a process and a strategy. It's no more a technology anymore, because when Alibaba put online 400 million credit scores for all their customers, it was a financial leadership strategy. It was not the use of the technology. And that you must reimagine your competition, and you must accept that disruption is coming, that Facebook and Google garnered most of the digital advertisement revenue and other companies' revenue went down, and that every business must be a digital business. That's all I would like to say for now. Thank you. Can't hear you. You are on mute.
You're on mute now.
Mr. Dave, very shortly, your final take.
Sure. Great points, everybody. Thank you very much for your time. I'll finish up with one very, very important thing. Amongst all of the transformation we talk about, amongst all the digitization, Anis is right. You can do an awful lot of new things. We need to focus on how to do things differently and new. But please don't forget, the only thing that really matters in marketing is understanding not consumers. A consumer is somebody who's in the act of consumption. I love Coca-Cola, but I'm not a Coke consumer right now because I'm not drinking one. I will drink one when this session finishes, and then I'll be a consumer for about 15 minutes. The important thing is to remember people. Marketing is all about people and the way they act and what's important in their lives, the way they think and what they're interested in. And too many marketers get too worried about tracking particular sets of data about particular activities and not looking at the broader prospect of what people find interesting and what they want to do. And so please all take a step back every now and again. Don't use the word consumer unless you're talking about actually eating, drinking, or using the product. The rest of the time, they're just people. And how do you make a difference to that life? That's my overall message for Marketing Futures. You're on mute again. And the other thing is, no matter how good we think we are, all of us get tripped up by the technology, right? So
we always do. We always do. I agree with that. So yes, thank you so much, everyone, especially our chief guests, Mr. Dave McCone and Mr. Anis Nekhan, for their valuable time and their insights. And also, I would like to thank our guests, Mr. Bashar, Mr. Bonaf, Mr. Rifat, Ms. Rubayat Shams, our Honorable Ma'am Tina, and Mr. Ahmad. Everyone gave their valuable opinion. I personally apologize because we had a shortage of time, so we couldn't give enough time to everyone. But maybe in future, when the pandemic ends, we will have an on-ground discussion, or probably we will talk more in this session. I once more, for the last time, I want to thank Ice Business Times for being the media partner, the Food Partner Secret Recipe, and Digital Express for being the digital partner of our today's Lead Talk. Thank you everyone once again. Stay safe, and this Lead Talk ends today. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.